Good afternoon. Welcome to Canning with Kate, and I am so glad that you are here to join me today. Go ahead and like and subscribe to my channel, please. Oh, and at the end of the video, if you want to share it with anybody, I would love that. Today, we are going to be doing a meal in a jar. Okay, it's something I've been really wanting to do because, yes, it's great to have, separate ingredients on your pantry shelf, but it's also really amazing to have a full meal ready to go in one spot, in one jar. So I needed to get some more on my pantry shelf, and I thought I would bring you along. I am going to be using this amazing book. It is the Canning Diva Pressure Canning, the complete guide to pressure canning. So I really have loved this cookbook. It's got a lot of different recipes from the ball canning books, so I really do enjoy using this one. She does tend to use a lot more ingredients, and it takes a little bit more time than what I've noticed with the ball canning books, but her recipes always turn out really well. So today we are going to be canning chicken corn chowder. I have everything all ready and prepped, so come along. All right, so the first thing is we are going to be doing is sauteing all of our ingredients. We need 1 cup of diced onion and 1 cup of celery, so I've got these all together here. We need 5 minced garlic cloves. I actually only had 4, so I only have 4 minced, but that's totally fine. Then we need 1 teaspoon of salt and half a teaspoon of pepper. The teaspoon of salt is totally optional. I'm going to use it. So the first step is going to be putting those in the 2 tablespoons of butter into a big stock pot and sauteing those until the onion is translucent. So I will go ahead and do that, and once the stuff is all sauteed and ready, we will come back for the next step. All right, see you in a second. All right, so my onions are starting to get that translucent look. So the next thing that we need to do is we have 8 cups. Sorry, I had to think. 8 cups of diced up chicken. Now, the recipe itself calls for 4 cups of just regular diced boneless, skinless chicken breasts and 4 cups of the chicken thighs, boneless, skinless chicken thighs. However, I did not have the thighs, and the chicken breasts were on sale for a crazy good deal, so I just did not get the thighs. I just got the 8 cups of chicken breasts. So I went ahead and diced those up. So now that the onions and all that mixture are well sauteed, I'm going to go ahead and add all 8 cups of the diced chicken breast. Okay, so now that I've added it, I'm just going to mix it up really well. Okay, so that's all mixed up really, really well together. And I'm going to just cook this for about 10 minutes in the stock pot. So I always like to use a timer, so I'm much more exact. So while we're waiting for this, I'm going to show you what other ingredients we're going to need for this. We need 1 red bell pepper, diced. We are going to need 4 cups of diced up or chopped up potatoes. I used red potatoes. I had, I think, about 5 like medium-sized red potatoes. Got me 4 cups. I did not skin them. I'm sure that you could if you wanted to, but I did not want to. So I just left the skins on. I washed them, left the skins on, and diced them up. The next thing is she calls for frozen or fresh corn. We need 32 ounces. So I didn't have any frozen and I didn't have any fresh. So I am actually using some that I already canned up like about a month ago. So I'm just using a quart jar of my previously canned corn, which is also fine. If it is frozen, then you want to defrost it and save the liquid. Make sure that you save the liquid because the liquid is going to help add to the flavor and all that goodness. So keep the liquid because you're going to add that in at the end. I'm going to be making quarts. You can certainly make it in pints. For quarts, it will be about 7 quarts. This recipe makes for pints. I think it's about 16 pints. So you can certainly do in pints, but I'm going to be making it in quarts for my family. Then you need, I think 16 cups of chicken broth or chicken stock. So I'm just using store-bought chicken broth. I have four of these that I'm going to be putting in. You can certainly use your own. And then this is clear gel. She does use this a lot in her recipes. I have not used it often, but I know that a lot of people use this in place of like cornstarch. The cornstarch in recipes is not said to be recommended for just it. I guess that regular cornstarch does not allow for heat to move all the way through your jars. So the clear gel is very similar to cornstarch, and it has been approved for use in canning. I found mine on Amazon, but I've also heard that if you have an Amish store near you, sometimes they'll have that. It's usually in a like a plastic bag or something, and it will do the same thing. It may not be called clear gel, but it does the same thing. So if you have an Amish community or an Amish grocery store near you, you can go there and get it. So we will be using the clear gel, and that will be going into 1 reserved cup of chicken broth. So 15 cups are going to go into the stock pot pretty soon, and I'm just saving 1 cup to mix in with the clear gel, and then that will go in as well, and then we'll go ahead and can it up. So I'm going to wait about 5 more minutes for this chicken to get done, and then we'll start adding the rest of the ingredients. All right, see you in a minute. Okay, so my chicken mixture has been cooking for 10 minutes. So now we go ahead and we add all of the other stuff. Let's see. Oh, hold on. Okay, so I have gotten everything put into the stock pot. I put the 15 cups of chicken broth. I put the peppers. I put the potatoes. And I think that's it. All right, so everything else has gone in there. So we are bringing it up to a boil. Once it gets up to a boil, then you let it boil for 5 minutes. After that, I am going to go ahead and mix up the clear gel. It's a ½ cup of clear gel, and you whisk it into the reserved 1 cup of chicken broth, and then immediately you put it into the stock pot, boil it for 5 more minutes, and then bring it off and start jarring up your soup. So once I get to the 5 minutes countdown, then I will bring you back and show you how to mix up the clear gel, and we'll get it into the pot. All right, so we're almost at the end. Okay, so we are done with the first 5 minutes, and I forgot the ingredient, the corn. I added the corn as well. So into the pot went the red peppers, the potatoes, the corn, and the 15 cups of chicken broth. So now we are going to put in our clear gel. Now this it's a lot like cornstarch. The consistency and everything is very similar. So I have a 1/4 cup measure cup here. I'm just going to put 2 of these into my cup of chicken broth. Just like so. I'm going to whisk it up really nicely. Now this is what thickens the soup to make it more into a chowder instead of a broth soup. So that's why this is an important ingredient. Of course, you don't have to add this if you don't have it, and you'll just have a more of a broth soup. All right, so this is all whisked up. I'm going to now put it into my stock pot and boil this for 5 more minutes, and then we'll be back. All right, so the 5 minutes is gone and our soup is ready to can up. My pressure canner is warm and, well, it's hot, and it is ready for the jars. So now we're just going to fill up our jars. I have 7 quart jars here, and I don't know about you, but I really like to have the same amount of ingredients in each jar. So I use a slotted spoon to fill up my jars evenly, and then I go back and fill up with the liquid. This is definitely not necessary. It's not even in the directions, but I found that out from another recipe that I did. I really liked it, so I thought it was a fantastic idea, and I've done it ever since. So we're just gonna go ahead and use my slotted spoon. I'm going to try and fill them up as evenly as possible with all of the solid ingredients, and then I'm going to go ahead and put in all of the liquid and fill them up to the 1-inch headspace. After I get everything filled up, I'm going to wipe down the rims of my jars with hot water. You can also use white vinegar. I just choose not to do that, but you can do either one. And then once I've wiped down all the rims, put the lid and rings on fingertip tight, then we're going to go ahead and put them into the canner. And for quarts, it's going to be processed for 90 minutes. For pints, if you're doing a pint jars, you're going to process these for 75 minutes. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I'll bring you back when I start putting the rings on. All right. Smells really good. All right, so we are done ladling all the soup in. Now, I did make a decision to not do the wiping of the rims with water because of the chicken broth. As I was ladling it in, I realized that the chicken broth might cause one of the jars not to seal if I don't get it really well wiped down with water. And the white vinegar just kind of makes sure that all of the grease from the chicken broth is removed. So I decided to go ahead and do the white vinegar instead of the water because I really don't want any of these jars not to seal. So put the lid on. Now I'm putting my ring on, fingertip tight. So it is now meeting resistance, and I'm just gonna a little bit more tight. All right, so these have already been wiped down. So I'm gonna do the same thing. It's met resistance, and now I'm just going to do a little bit further. Okay. Now again, if some of these don't end up sealing, you can either reprocess or you can just eat for dinner that week. So everything has been all the lids have been put on, all the rings have been put on. The canner is ready to go. So now I'm just going to finish loading my canner. I'm going to let it come to a steady vent for 10 minutes. Once it has vented for 10 minutes, I'm going to put my weight on at 10 pounds pressure, and once my weight comes up to, or the canner comes up to 10 pounds pressure, I'm going to start my timer for 90 minutes. Again, that's for quarts. If you have pints, you do it for 75. After that 75 minutes or the 90 minutes pressure time, then you just turn off your heat and you let it come down to 0 pounds pressure. After that, I usually let it sit for like another 5 minutes, but that's not necessary. That's up to you. So after it reaches that 0 pounds pressure, you can go ahead and feel free to take off your lid and remove your jars. Let them sit undisturbed for 12 to 24 hours and take off the rings. Make sure you always take off the rings and wash your jars and put them on your shelf after you've labeled them. So this is the Chicken Corn Chowder, and it's from the Canning Diva book, Complete Guide to Canning. So I am so happy that you joined me today, and I hope that you try this meal in a jar and that your family loves it. All right, please remember to like and subscribe, share my channel if you wish, and come back next time. All right, see you next time. Bye.